It's Wednesday the 3rd of December from the MEN newsroom. This is Channel M's Lunchtime News and these are today's headlines. Catching the benefit cheats, Bury leads the way in using lie detectors to spot people not telling the truth.
A client will be asked a number of questions which they will give an answer to, such as their name, their age, their address. The software will then identify the stress factors in their voice, and it'll look for stress factors when they answer other questions. If they find those stress factors, it'll flash up the claim or the responses as high risk.
Also this lunchtime, named and shamed, more drivers abusing disabled parking badges are hauled before the courts.
We have had a crackdown on fraudulent badges. Now it's more moved on to misusing relatives' badges.
And have you voted yet? We get the first update on the congestion charge ballot as campaigners start a push to get completely free buses.
For a turnout on a very cold winter's night in December is very good. We're very heartened by it. I mean, we launched a petition a few weeks ago. We've already got over 1,000 signatures on the petition.
Good afternoon. First this lunchtime, anyone trying to claim benefits will soon have to face lie detector tests. The idea is one of the new measures that's been announced in today's Queen's speech, which sets out what new laws the government's going to draw up for the coming year. It's already being tried out in Bury and will soon be extended nationwide. Ben Bland's been to take a look at how it works.
The lie detection system being trialled in Bury measures changes in the sound of a caller's voice, sometimes caused by increased stress, indicating they might be lying. If it thinks they are lying, they'll be flagged as high risk and will have to produce more documents to back up their claim. Anyone considered lower risk by the system will have to produce fewer documents. Unfortunately, we can't show you exactly how the system works because the government department in Westminster that's running this trial didn't want us to go inside and film. But what do people here in Bury think of having a lie detector on their benefits helpline?
Anything that can catch benefit cheats is definitely a good idea.
Well, something needs to be done. I'm not sure about a lie detector, but certainly they need to do something to catch these people out.
Good idea. Too many of them.
If you were phoning up the helpline, would you mind that you were being put through a lie detector test?
Nope. No, not in the slightest, no. Especially when I've got nothing to hide. And anybody that was honest would do the same thing.
But why is it being trialled in Bury, and how reliable is the system?
The Department of Work and Pensions recognise that Bury is a very good benefit processing council. It's not going to cost Bury Council anything. We're a pilot authority, so it'll be met by the government centrally. So I think that's a real benefit to us. What we will do, though, is obviously continue with the background work we do on fraud detection, where we rely on references from our helpline and our anti-fraud line and the work that our fraud team does. So that's a sort of second check which will go on in the background anyway. But we think the vast majority of cases aren't high risk and we can then improve our customer service, which is what's really important to us.
Nationally, benefit fraud cost taxpayers £0.8 billion in 2006 to 2007. Schemes like this aim to reduce that figure. The lie detector technology is being trialled here in Bury for a year, and the pilot's being funded by the Department for Work and Pensions. If it works well, other councils in Greater Manchester could soon be using the system to try and cut benefit fraud right across the region. Ben Bland, Channel M News.
Thanks, Ben. Well, let's take a look now at the other measures that have been announced in the Queen's speech within the last hour or so. Dealing with the current economic problems is going to be a main priority. The banking reform bill will include measures to allow the Treasury to step in sooner when things start going wrong. It could also allow some financial institutions to be brought into public ownership. Reforms of the welfare system are likely to include making those who've been unemployed for long periods lose benefits if they don't go on training courses. There are plans to cut paperwork for the police and also new powers to reduce binge drinking. The NHS reform bill would include a new constitution for the health service, spelling out staff and patients' rights and responsibilities. There'll also be measures to cut child poverty and also change immigration rules to make the process faster and also force those coming here to learn English. A look at this afternoon's other top stories now, and another 12 people are appearing in court charged with abusing disabled parking permits. The council is cracking down on those who try to get away without paying to leave their cars, and officials say they won't ease up on the naming and shaming. Here's Georgia Calvin-Smith.
We can't show you who the undercover enforcement officers are, but they're out on patrol in Manchester city centre daily. You probably wouldn't even notice them as they go about checking cars that park in disabled spaces and displaying the blue badge parking permits.
They say I shouldn't use the blue badge of my son without him. I don't understand it.
But do you admit that you've done something wrong?
Yeah, because now he told me that I shouldn't use it without him. I admit that I do something wrong, yeah.
Blue badges can only be used when the person to whom it was issued is transported in the vehicle. Confusion over the rules is not an excuse.
We have had a crackdown on fraudulent badges. Now it's more moved on to misusing relatives' badges. So long as people are doing it, we would like the courts, as they have done before, to send out a message to deter other people.
In Manchester city centre, there are 2,688 ordinary parking bays, but only 92 disabled ones. As there are around 18,500 genuine blue badges in circulation at the moment, disabled bays are in short supply.
There's a reason why we've got these cards and there's a reason why we've got these badges. It's really bad inconvenience, but it's also about the attitudes of the people because, they obviously don't understand that we need them for a reason.
Although disabled drivers are granted other concessions like being able to park on single and double yellow lines for limited amounts of time and use pay and display spaces for free, parking in Manchester city centre conveniently can be difficult at the best of times. So when able-bodied drivers use designated disabled parking spaces, it's the most vulnerable amongst us who suffer.
I tend to use taxis because there's not a lot of accessible spaces around. And the ones that are used, the ones that are provided, are mostly being used by other people that are not necessarily blue badge holders.
The person, no matter what reason they've come up with, they're stopping somebody like Stacey getting a space, and that's not acceptable.
Earlier this year, the government announced that it was ploughing £55 million into reducing disabled badge fraud over the next 3 years. Money that could be spent elsewhere if blue badges and the privileges that go with them were used only by those who genuinely needed them. Georgia Calvin-Smith, Channel M News.
Police are looking for a gunman who threatened to shoot a passerby in Burnage. The man was walking along Irwood Road at around 9 o'clock on Friday evening when 3 men overtook him. One of them shouted, "What are you looking at?" before pulling a black pistol from his coat. He threatened to shoot the man first in the head and then the leg. The other 2 men then encouraged the gunman to leave and all 3 made off towards Clare Road. A mother from Blakely is being caught taking the blame for speeding tickets her son and husband had clocked up. Wendy Hall hadn't even passed her driving test but admitted 3 offences and had the points added to her licence. She was found out when CCTV cameras caught the vehicle clearly being driven by a man rather than her. She's been given a suspended sentence and ordered to do 150 hours unpaid work. Health workers at hospitals here in Greater Manchester are only taking urgent phone calls and refusing to do non-essential paperwork. It's part of a work to rule organised by the Unite union. They're angry at a 3-year pay offer that they're branding derisory. Figures show only a fifth of people have posted back their congestion charge votes so far. We've had the first update through on what the turnout for the referendum is. We can break it down for you now, borough by borough. Across the area, 1.9 million ballot packs have been issued, and in most areas, between 20 and 30% have been sent back. Voters have to say whether they back plans for a major investment in public transport, partly funded by a peak time congestion charge. Tameside and Oldham have seen the most papers returned, 28%, with the fewest being received from Manchester, only 13.5%. Now, with just 10 days left till we get to know the result of that congestion charge referendum, it seems talk of public transport really is on everyone's lips. Campaigners have turned out in Manchester to push for a completely free system. Kevin Duffy was at their rally.
And what we're advocating is that the public transport system should be brought back into public ownership, that it should be run as a service for the people, not as a source of private profit.
Bus passengers were probably unable to hear, but they may well have liked the message being delivered in Piccadilly Gardens. What these campaigners want is a public transport system that everybody can use to travel anywhere they like without having to pay a single penny.
I'm here to learn about this. I know this has happened in Hasselt in Belgium. I've heard brief details, so that's why I'm here to learn about this.
And it's certainly popular. Since free public transport was introduced in Hasselt in 1997, the number of people using it has rocketed. from around 360,000 to about 4.6 million. Now, on the face of it, completely free of charge public transport sounds like a good idea, and yet there simply are not many people here at this demonstration in Piccadilly Gardens this evening. So why is that?
Well, I think the turnout for what is really a brand new campaign, for a turnout on a very cold winter's night in December, is very good. We're very heartened by it. I mean, we launched a petition a few weeks ago. We've already got over 1,000 signatures on the petition.
Not everybody is convinced, however.
Who's going to pay the drivers? Who's going to pay the conductors, the mechanics, the cleaners? Poll tax? Don't think so.
The free buses idea also got a cool reception at the Channel M congestion charge debate.
That first of all, if we were going to have free public transport, there will be an enormous cost, a rather greater cost than we're talking about in terms of the TIF programme.
So, free public transport. When you think about it, we've got that in Manchester already to some extent. For example, there's the free Metro shuttle bus service, and then, of course, when you're 60, you get your free bus pass. Kevin Duffy for Channel M News.
3 shops have been badly damaged by fire overnight in Monton. Emergency crews were called to a dry cleaners on Monton Road at just after 3 o'clock. The flames then spread to 2 neighbouring stores. It took 5 fire engines to deal with the flames. One of the conjoined twins being separated by medics at Great Ormond Street Hospital has died. Hope Williams had been separated from her sister Faith but died with her parents last night because her lungs couldn't support her breathing. The other baby is said to be in a stable condition, but doctors say she is needing help with her breathing as well, and complications could yet occur. The Speaker of the House of Commons will explain later why police were allowed into Damien Green's parliamentary office. The Tories' immigration spokesman was questioned for 9 hours over alleged leaks from the Home Office. Michael Martin will be accused of not doing enough to protect parliamentary privilege. Right, time now to take a look at the lunchtime sports headlines. With all the details, here's Sam Goodman.
Thank you, James. Well, the Manchester United striker Carlos Tevez is once again out to prove to Sir Alex why he deserves a place in his starting lineup tonight as United face Blackburn in the Carling Cup. With Ferguson set to name a young side, one surprise face in the squad could be Paul Scholes, who's recovered from an operation. Ben Foster will be the 3rd goalkeeper to be given a chance in this cup campaign, and Angolan striker Manucho is also set to be named for the squad. For Blackburn, Vince Grella, David Dunn and Stephen Reid are all out, and on loan United defender Danny Simpson is cup-tied. Well, across Manchester, it will be the first time both teams have played at home since 1997, as Manchester City will be in action against Paris Saint-Germain in the UEFA Cup. Mark Hughes might be without 3 first-team players. Sean Wright-Phillips, Robinho and Micah Richards, who are all doubtful. Gelson Fernandes is now definitely going to miss out. Maxfield's unbeaten run came to an abrupt end last night as league leaders Wickham put 4 past them in what seems to be a backlash from the home side, who were embarrassingly knocked out of the FA Cup to non-league side Eastwood. In boxing, Amir Khan has returned from Los Angeles somewhat slimmer, and a fellow boxer believes he is now a better fighter ahead of his fight against Oyson Fagan on Saturday.
The very fact that he's had Gomez in for sparring says, speaks volumes really for perhaps a new attitude from Amir. And I spoke to Mike, and Mike said he's a massively improved fighter. He said he's a different kettle of fish from the Amir Khan who lost to Brady Prescott in September. I think one noticeable thing is that Amir looks lighter, he looks leaner and meaner. I think the implication of that is that he was perhaps overdoing the weights. And a fighter like Amir, whose main assets are his speed and his nimbleness and his hand speed, perhaps doesn't need to do weights to the same extent as, say, a fighter like Ricky Hatton, where strength is his major asset. And that's something that'll be interesting to see on Saturday, whether he's that little bit sharper, a little bit faster on his feet, a little bit faster in the hands as well. And if he is, we could well see a spectacular comeback.
In cricket, there are mixed reactions so far to what will happen for the Test series this month. Reports have said that some players won't be returning, while the Indian police are expecting the team to return next Monday. It could be another 6 days for an official decision to be made by the ECB. And finally, the usual transfer rumours. Manchester City are ready to spend at least £70 million on a world superstar in January. Names include Kaká, Lionel Messi, Carlos Tevez and Samuel Eto'o, while City have had a bid of a massive £128 million for Real Madrid keeper Iker Casillas turned down. And Wigan manager Steve Bruce could bring back Marlon King from his loan at Hull if Emile Heskey does leave in the transfer window. Well, that's all the sport from me for now. Join me again later in our evening news.
OK, Sam, thanks for the update. More sport with Andy Crane from 5 tonight. Still to come then between now and 1 o'clock, you can see the next performance in our Christmas choir competition, and with more snow forecast, we've been seeing how youngsters have been making the most of their time off because of the wintry weather. Welcome back to Channel M's Lunchtime News. We're here every day between 12 and 1 with all of Greater Manchester's headlines. You can always check out our reports online as well at channelm.co.uk. On there right now, take a look at all the disruption caused by the Arctic weather yesterday and the criminals being forced to wear orange vests to do their community service. That's at channelm.co.uk. Next, relatives and friends of a pensioner who died after getting knocked to the floor by a shoplifter are gathering for his funeral. Philip Dickinson's family are now appealing for help in catching the thief police say was responsible for his death.
It's a petty theft, but it's had a knock-on effect that's resulted in a death. And I just hope that person can prick his own conscience and realise that what he thought was just a theft to him has now resulted in somebody's life being taken. And I think he needs to look inside himself and come forward.
The one thing I would say is this person probably didn't go into the shop with the intention of coming out and causing those injuries to Mr Dickinson. So to that person, I would say, really, yes, you have gone in to commit a theft. What's happened afterwards, you're probably not even perceived when you've gone in the shop, but the fact it has happened, we can't get away from it, and we need to deal with that. And the only way we can deal with that and come to some closure for the family is by that person coming forward.
Cancer patient Thomas Buckley is on day 5 of a coast-to-coast walk to raise money for the Christie Hospital where he was treated. He's only 23 and has been told he hasn't got long to live, but that hasn't stopped him trying to make a difference.
I think a lot of people are saying I'm inspirational and things like this, but I disagree. I think it's just human nature. It's how you react. I've got to be philosophical about it. I think I've had 14 tumours in my life, and it's come back, 5 or 6 times. You just have to admit defeat sometimes. It's not that I haven't battled harder than anyone else. It's just life, and you just have to. It's only in the last couple of months that I've really thought, well, I'm just going to enjoy life now and set myself little goals. After the walk, I'll plan something else, I think, and you've just got to take it on the chin and accept it. Sometimes, life's not fair, but it is life, isn't it?
Time now to carry on our countdown to Christmas with the 3rd entry in our school choir competition. Today it's the turn of St Peter's C of E Junior School in Lee. Details of how you can vote for them are on the way after we've heard their song, Can I Pull a Christmas Cracker?
C Junior School is very healthy because we won a health award, and it's very sport and active.
Well, a big thank you to everyone at St Peter's. If you want to vote for them, you need to text Choir C to 88821. Texts cost 50p plus your normal texting charge. 20p from each goes to charity. The text line closes at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. Messages sent after then won't count and may still be charged. You'll be able to vote for them again in our hour-long Christmas choir contest special, the weekend of the 13th and the 14th of December. The choir with the most votes will win the coveted Christmas choir competition trophy and get to visit our studio at Urbis to perform live. Good luck to everyone who's taking part. Now, forecasters are predicting more snowfall as the Arctic weather continues. Bookmakers have now cut the odds on it being a white Christmas. More than 200 schools were closed across the northwest yesterday, many of them here in Greater Manchester. So what would you do if you had an unexpected day off school? Hit the slopes, of course.
kidding all of us. I can tell you, that is no joke. Ben Bland, Channel M News.
Well, let's find out now just how much more snow we're likely to be getting. With the details, here's Michelle Eagleton.
Well, you did wake up to a very wintry and icy morning across Greater Manchester. It's pretty much going to be like that for the majority of the day, I'm afraid. We are going to see some more outbursts of snow and also a little bit of rain as well that'll be creeping in. Highs of between 0 and 2. Now, Preston's getting the best of that weather. It will be 2 degrees over in Preston, but the rest of us are getting freezing 0 temperatures. So do wrap up nice and warm if you are going to be heading out and about. This morning you can see there's a lot of heavy cloud. It's not really going to shift that cloud until about 3-4 o'clock, and that's really when we are going to see some of those showers coming in from the westerly direction. So any snow that might fall isn't going to stick. So that might be good news for some and bad news for others who maybe want to go and build their own snowman. Now let's take a look at the next couple of days. A mixed bag for you. Thursday's looking a bit stormy for now. Friday pretty rainy. Saturday is the best of the week. Lots of sunshine expected, and on Sunday we're seeing highs of 10.
You're watching Channel M's Lunchtime News. Our main headlines this afternoon. The Queen has officially opened Parliament and announced details of what new laws the government is planning for the next 12 months. One of the bills, focusing on changes to the welfare system, includes plans to extend a trial underway in Bury to get people trying to claim benefits to have lie detector tests. High-tech software spot if they're not telling the truth. Another 12 people accused of misusing disabled parking permits are being hauled before the courts here in Manchester. The council's cracking down on people who aren't using their blue badges correctly. Figures just released show only a fifth of voters here in Greater Manchester have so far posted back their votes for the congestion charge referendum. In the city centre itself, the figures lower, only 13.5%. We'll have more on those stories in our early evening news later, when we'll also have more on Tony Wilson being posthumously given the Freedom of Manchester. That's with Andy Crane from 5 o'clock, but from me and the rest of the Lunchtime team, have a very good afternoon. Thanks very much for watching. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye for now.